Slay the Princess is a psychological horror choose-your-own-adventure game by Black Tabby Games, released on October 23rd of 2023. The main gist of the game is to, well, slay the princess. But like any other choose-your-own-adventure game, you can make different decisions, including not slaying the princess, which can allow you to see different variations of the princess. There are over 26 versions of the princess, which all have their own respective chapters, and I'll be ranking them all in today's video. So sit back and relax as I rank every chapter / princess and slay the princess. Alright, so here's the tier list. We have every single vessel, or I guess chapter, in the game. I guess what I should say before I start ranking these is that I'm just ranking these off my general enjoyment of the chapter instead of, like, you know, actual categories, because I feel like it would just be more simple that way. I also didn't include like the spaces between stuff, like the mirror at the end of the game and the shifting mound, because I just didn't want this video to be like 80 years. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense before I start this. But anyway, let's start with the first one, which is just the hero and the princess. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like this chapter, you know, it gets the ball rolling, I'd say. She's just kind of like the blank slate princess. She kind of just reacts to what you do. There's nothing much going on in this chapter. But I mean, it doesn't really have to be, because it's just the start of the game, and I think it does a good job at that. So I'm just going to put it in B tier, because it's not bad, but it's also not the best, obviously. So I think B tier is probably the best place for that. The next one we have is the adversary, which I would say I like this chapter. Her design is pretty cool. The whole stubborn thing and her kind of like relating with each other, I think that's a cool touch. And also, like, you know, all the fighting and stuff, the whole fighting scene, I really like that. So I think this chapter gets a low A tier. Obviously, both these will fill up more and more as we go. Next we have is the Beast. And if I'm being honest, I can't say I really enjoyed the Beast chapter too much. I mean, the whole like basement being a jungle is cool and all, but other than that, it just kind of feels like she eats you, or you kill her and you just go to the den, which is sort of a continuation of this chapter. I just feel like there isn't much going for it, in my opinion. But Voice of the Hunted is pretty cool. So I think it'll get a C tier. Like, it's not horrible. Or maybe it could get a D tier. I don't know, because if I'm being honest, this is probably my least favorite chapter in the game. Which I hope that's not like a controversial take or anything. But I think it probably gets a D tier for me. Next we have is the Damsel. And the Damsel's okay. I mean, she's kind of goofy with the whole deconstructing thing when you ask her what she wants to do. But, you know, it's kind of just a joke chapter, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. And the whole smitten voice, you know. He's cool, but it's a goofy chapter, but, you know, it does its job, I guess. So I think it'll get... It's also higher than Hero and the Princess, so I think it'll get a B tier. Next we have is the Nightmare. The Nightmare is actually kind of cool, I think. It kind of leans more into the horror aspect of the game, and I think that's really cool. It also connects to the moment of clarity, which we'll rank later, which I think is really cool. That's a really cool chapter, but we'll get to that later. But the whole nightmare thing, you have the heart, lungs, liver, nerves thing by the paranoid, which is really funny. I like that a lot. So I think it'll be A tier, but it's also under adversary. The Prisoner. I don't really like the Prisoner all too much, if I'm being honest. I mean, I get her whole thing is like being boring and all, and just waiting, which makes sense. It fits her, but you know, there's nothing going on too much in this chapter other than, you know, just waiting or giving her the knife and her just chopping her head off. But you know, it gets the job done for what it's going for, I think. So it'll get like a C tier. Not the worst chapter though. Not as like bad as Beast in my opinion. Beast just isn't very cool in my opinion. Next we have is the Razor, and you know, I think the Razor is probably like a fan favorite. This chapter is hilarious. You have the her just standing in the middle of the hallway, not even like against the wall, because she's just not even trying to hide her being suspicious, which is really funny to me. Her like weird, I don't even say it's like an auto-tuned voice, it's just like, it sounds weird, like metallic I guess, which I guess is what she's going for, which is really cool. So I think I'll put it at the top of A tier, but that might change later. It's a really cool chapter, I think it's funny. Next we have is the Spectre. This chapter is really cool in my opinion. You get it after just instantly killing the princess without hesitating, if I remember correctly. And this chapter is really cool because you would think the Spectre would be mean to you after, you know, killing her right away. But she's surprisingly nice to you, as long as you don't, like, provoke her. It also leads to one of my favorite chapters in the entire game, which is Princess and the Dragon. So I think this one probably gets, like, a high S tier. Or not high S tier, probably a low S tier for now. But yeah, Spectre is goated. Next we have is the Stranger. This chapter is very interesting in my opinion, because it's sort of like an amalgamation. Like, the princess just doesn't really know who she wants to be, because you never really met her, so she doesn't really have anything to go off of, which is a really interesting way to start like a chapter. So, or a really interesting way to like play out a chapter. So I think it's a really good one. I think I'll put it, I would say it's better than Razor. Or no, I think Razor's better. I'll put it under Razor for now. Very good chapter. Next one we have is the Tower. The Tower, I mean, okay, she's cool, but you know, the whole personality thing with, you know, her being a god, and other, like, if you don't obey her, she just kills you. So I mean, there's really not a lot going on for the Tower, but she has a cool design, I have to give her that. So I would say it's maybe like a low A tier chapter. It's really cool, and also leads to Apotheosis, which is really good. Next we have is the Witch, and I think this one's also a fan favorite, and I can see why. It's a goofy chapter. She's basically just like a cat. The whole thing with like betrayal and everything, but this chapter is really cool too. So, you know, I think it probably would get a high A tier, probably above Razor, because the Witch is funny, you know, she's just the colon 3 face. Next one we have is the Apotheosis, which is off rip. I'm just gonna say this one's probably my favorite chapter in the entirety of the game. Like, the music, her design, everything about the Apotheosis chapter is just amazing, dude. Like, I don't remember which voice it is you get for this chapter, or what you need to unlock this part of the chapter, but there's this part where you get like this giant sword and everything. You could fight her. It's so cool, bro. Like, just off rip, this is definitely my favorite chapter in the entire game. Just no contest, I think. Next one we have is the Arms Race, which I think is a continuation of the Razor chapter after she kills you. And I mean, you know, there's not a lot to say about this chapter other than, you know, it's kind of just goofy like the Razor chapter. But there's also the iconic look, the iconic look that you can give her. So I mean, it's better than the Razor, I guess. I'll just put it there. Not a lot to say about this one. The next one we have is the Cage. What do I think about the Cage? If I'm not mistaken, you get this one after the Prisoner if you decide to kill yourself. So, I mean, the whole thing of it being like an endless cycle of you guys just killing each other, basically. I don't know if it's killing each other. It's more so just the endless cycle of you giving her the knife and then, you know, she kills herself, I guess, stuff like that. It's a really interesting chapter, and I think it really blooms when you when you don't bring the knife, when you toss into the woods at the start of the chapter and you go in and she's like all surprised that you didn't bring it. It's really cool, I think. So I'll put it. It's obviously better than The Prisoner, no debate. I'll put it like a high B tier chapter. It's pretty good. The next one we have is The Den. I mean, similar to The Beast, I can't say I enjoyed this chapter all too much. Like, it's not a bad chapter. Like, none of the chapters in this game are bad. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's also better than The Beast because I think you can save her in this chapter. Unlike The Beast, where she just, instantly kills you. So, it's also better than The Beast, but it's definitely like one of my least favorite chapters in the whole game. So I think it'll go, in front of The Beast. The next one we have is the Eye of the Needle, which is basically just a better adversary. Like, I think most of us can agree Eye of the Needle is probably just a better adversary. The whole thing where I think if you have Voice of the Hunted, you can leave the cabin, and there's like a whole fight sequence. It's really cool. Her design is also really cool too. So, I would say it's better than the adversary for sure. So I'll go right in front of her. Next one we have is the Fury. I think you can get this from either the Tower. I think you can get from both. You can get either from Tower or the... Which one's the other one I'm thinking of? You can get from Tower or the Adversary. If you make both of them mad. So I would say the Fury is... It's a good chapter in my opinion. The whole imagery of like all of the just blood and organs everywhere is kind of nasty, but I think it's really cool. The whole thing where she like rips you apart and just like tears your atoms across the world is also really interesting too. So I think she's a high A tier, honestly. Like, she's a pretty cool chapter. It's like a pretty cool chapter. She's also a pretty good princess too. So yeah, I think that gets a high A tier. Looks like a lot of these guys are getting into A tier now that I think about it, but all the chapters in this game are pretty good. Next one we have is the Burned Grave, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the Burned Grave is cool, but there's not much going for these chapters. I mean, I think in Burned Grave she just throws like a torch into the basement and you guys catch on fire and die together, which is just, it's cool and all, but there's not a lot going for the Grey, in my opinion. I do like the little, the whole thing of her face just getting burned off and like getting creepier as the basement catches fire. That's really cool. But other than that, I don't have much to say about this chapter, so I think it's gonna get like C tier. And same for the Drowned Grey, except I think the Drowned Grey is probably cooler with the whole like seeing her body underwater and her dragging you down. That's really cool. So I think it's in front of the Grey, but it's also not the coolest thing in the entire game. The Princess and the Dragon. This chapter is actually peak in my opinion. The whole thing of you taking the princess's place and seeing things from her perspective, it's so cool, bro. And you can also just leave the cabin with her if you give her the knife. It's awesome. I love this chapter so much. The music is good in this chapter. It's just peak video games, bro. It's getting an S tier under Apotheosis. Probably my second favorite chapter. For now, at least. I don't know. We'll see. The Thorn. This is a fan favorite, I know for sure. And I can see why. This chapter is goated. I mean, the whole thing of like, ending the betrayal with each other between like, throughout the witch and stuff, ending all that betrayal, leaving it all behind you. It's such a cool like story in my opinion. And you can also just kiss her, which is just goated, she's getting points for that. So she's probably top of A tier section for sure. Like, there's no doubt about that one. The Wild. The Wild is a very interesting chapter because it's not like most of them. I feel like The Wild... Ow, I just hit my mic. I don't know how loud that is. But I feel like The Wild is definitely the most extract chapter out of all of them. And I think it's also when you guys are probably most similar to like, the Shifting Mountain and the Long Quiet being together. Because you guys are kind of just fused into one in this chapter. You can also just kill her, I think, if you decide to side with the narrator and don't, like, you know, open the construct. So I do like the wild because it's very cool how abstract this chapter is, but you know, it's definitely not the coolest thing in the game. I think it'll get like top of B tier. It's very cool though. The Wraith. If I'm being honest, I can't say I enjoyed the Wraith all too much. It's cool and all, but there's just not much going on in it, I think, because she either just possesses you if you leave, or you just jump into the void. So, you know, there's not too much going on with it. Her design is pretty creepy though, I like it. So, she'll get, like, this chapter probably gets a C tier. Not bad, but, you know, there's cooler stuff. Mutually assured destruction. This is also a continuation of the Razor. I think you get here after the arms race. And I mean, what can I really say? The mutually assured destruction is awesome. She turns into this giant, like, colossal being that's just knives sticking out of her. It's really cool. I don't have much to say about it though, because it's kind of a short chapter from what I remember. Yeah, I think it goes above arms race. It's really cool though. The moment of clarity. To be honest, when I first played this chapter, when playing through the game for the first time, I didn't really enjoy it too much, but I don't think I had a good understanding of it when I first played. But I think now that I've, you know, replayed the game a few times, this chapter is really cool and all. Like the whole thing of her coming out of the pit and you freeing her, it's really cool. And the visuals before on the nightmare when you get to this part, it's just awesome. So I think it's above Nightmare for me. And Happily Ever After, the chapter that basically makes like everybody cry when they play it for the first time, including me. This chapter is actually like awesome, because it's just like nobody's happy, and even the narrator sees it. This is the only time in the game that I think the narrator just like does not want to slay the princess at all, because he's seen worse things. I'm pretty sure is what he says. It's just a peak chapter, and the whole thing with you like dancing under the stars at the end, it's so cool. Like, I think this is probably one of the best chapters in the game. Like, definitely. Like, it might even better than Princess of the Dragon, in my opinion. After replaying it for this video. Like, it's so cool, in my opinion. Revise. I feel like Tower could probably go to B tier. Because I don't know. I don't think Tower is actually really an A tier princess. Like, she's cool, obviously, but there's just not a whole lot of, there's not a whole interesting like thing going on with her. I think this is my tier list. So, you know, if you guys agree with it or want to change anything, you guys can just comment down below what you would want to change. But I think this is my tier list of the entire game. So, I mean, hopefully it's a somewhat agreeable. So yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that ranking. This is definitely the longest it's taken me to make a video because of having to get all the footage for every single chapter. Slay the Princess is definitely my favorite game of all time after playing it in early 2025. I mean, I literally 100% the game in less than a week. Also, one last thing before I shut up and end the video. If you're like me and you enjoyed Slay the Princess, then you probably should try Scarlet. It's Black Tabby Games' other project that they've been working on before Slay the Princess, and it's also amazing. Episode 5 of Scarlet Hollow came out about a month ago at the time of writing this, so there's still a bit of people talking about it. Other than that though, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you the next time I make a video. Bye bye.